These vessels have dominated the seas with their astounding capabilities. Born from the need to protect, these warships are responsible for maintaining the balance of power out on the sea. They are also the symbol of a nation's military prowess and commitment to peace. With their formidable size, mind-blowing features, and extremely lethal armaments, these ships are as critical and important as they sound. What are the most dangerous ships in the world, and what capabilities do they boast of? Join us as we explore the features of some of the world's most dangerous warships and what nation they belong to. In the past, ships were essential for helping people explore far beyond their usual limits and discover new societies and cultures that were otherwise out of reach. However, over time, shipbuilding technology got much better after the ancient era. They have been restricted and designed to help move military forces across water to coastal areas where they can be used against enemies. They also guard merchant ships from attacks, stop the enemy from using the sea to move their own forces, and attack the enemy's merchant ships. Let's explore the features of some of the most powerful vessels in the world, beginning with the Richelieu. The Richelieu was a notable French fast battleship laid down in 1935 and launched in 1939. This warship featured an unconventional design with 2 quadruple gun turrets mounted forward, holding 8 powerful 380mm guns. Design-wise, it displaced 37,250 tons standard, reaching up to 44,600 tons fully loaded, with a top speed of 32 knots. Its formidable armament, strong armor, and innovative layout made it a significant force, demonstrating the evolution of naval warfare and ship design. As the Second World War loomed, Richelieu was hurriedly prepared and fled to Dakar to stay under French control, just before France fell to Germany. In Dakar, the ship endured British attacks meant to either sink it or force it to join the Free French forces. Despite damages, it withstood the attacks and was eventually handed over to the Free French after the Allied invasion of North Africa. Repaired and modernized in the United States, Richelieu served with the British Home Fleet and later in the Indian Ocean against Japanese forces. It played a part in the liberation of Singapore and operations in French Indochina before returning to France in 1945. However, after the war, it saw limited training, was converted into a gunnery training ship in 1952, and was eventually scrapped in 1968. Moving on to the Admiral Flota Sovetskogo Soyuza Kuznetsov. This vessel is an imposing aircraft carrier and the pride of the Russian Navy that has quite a fascinating history. Built by the Black Sea Shipyard in Ukraine, it first touched the water in 1985 and officially joined the Russian fleet in 1995. This mighty vessel has worn many names over the years, starting as Riga, then Leonid Brezhnev, Tbilisi, before finally honoring Admiral Nikolai Kuznetsov. It is designed for a unique mission compared to U.S. Navy carriers. Known as heavy aircraft carrying cruisers by their builders, these ships are meant to support and protect Russian strategic missile submarines, surface ships, and naval missile aircraft. The main aircraft on board is the versatile Sukhoi Su-33, capable of air superiority, fleet defense, air support, direct fire support for amphibious assaults, reconnaissance, and laying naval mines. The carrier also uses Kamov Ka-27 and Ka-27S helicopters for anti-submarine warfare, search and rescue, and transport. One unique feature of the Kuznetsov is its ski jump ramp for aircraft takeoff. Planes accelerate up this ramp using afterburners, allowing them to leave the deck at a higher angle and elevation. This method is easier on pilots but requires aircraft designed not to stall at low speeds. The ship also serves as a missile cruiser, equipped with 12 long-range P-700 Granite cruise missiles. Unlike most Western carriers, it is conventionally powered using mazout fuel, often producing a trail of thick black smoke due to improper preheating of the fuel. Intended as the pioneer of the Kuznetsov-class ships, its story took a twist when the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991, leaving its sister ship, Varyag, incomplete. Ukraine eventually sold Varyag to China, where it was finished and christened Liaoning, adding an international chapter to this story. Since 2018, the Kuznetsov has been through extensive repairs, marred by a series of dramatic setbacks. The sinking of a floating dry dock in 2018, which claimed a worker's life, forced a relocation to Sevmorpet Yard, number 35. A year later, a major fire on board killed another worker and injured 10 more, casting further shadows over the repair efforts. Despite these challenges, the indomitable Kuznetsov was moved to a dry dock in Murmansk in June 2022, where it stayed until February 2023. The hope is for this formidable ship to rejoin the Russian Navy in 2024, though the timeline might stretch to 2025 if new issues arise. Next on the list is a destroyer that has dominated the sea for years with its unparalleled strength, the Arleigh Burke class of guided missile destroyers. It is a United States Navy class of destroyers centered around the Aegis Combat System and the Spy-1D radar. Named after Admiral Arleigh Burke, a World War II destroyer officer and later Chief of Naval Operations, these ships measure 505 to 509.5 feet in length, displace between 8,300 and 9,700 tons, and are armed with over 90 missiles. They are larger and more heavily armed than many previous guided missile cruisers. These destroyers are versatile, capable of anti-aircraft warfare with Aegis and surface-to-air missiles, land strikes with Tomahawk missiles, anti-submarine warfare with sonar and rockets, and anti-surface warfare with ship-to-ship missiles and guns. Upgraded radar systems such as the AN/Spy-1 and AN/Spy-6 enhance their capabilities as mobile anti-ballistic missile and anti-satellite platforms. The first ship of the class, USS Arleigh Burke, was commissioned on July 4, 1991, during Admiral Burke's lifetime. After the decommissioning of the last Spruance-class destroyer, USS Cushing, in 2005, the Arleigh Burke-class ships became the U.S. Navy's only active destroyers until the Zumwalt class was introduced in 2016. This class has the longest production run of any U.S. Navy surface combatant, with all 73 built ships active as of October 2023 and 19 more planned. Among the largest destroyers built in the United States, the Arleigh Burke class features a wide flaring bow that enhances seakeeping ability and permits high speed in rough seas. The ships use stealth techniques including angled surfaces and a raked tripod mainmast to reduce radar detectability. Lessons from previous classes and conflicts, such as the Falklands War, influenced the decision to use all-steel construction for increased survivability. These destroyers are equipped with AN/SLQ 32 electronic warfare suites, Mark 36 infrared and chaff decoy launchers, Nulka decoy launchers, AN/SLQ 25 Nixie towed countermeasures, and noise-reducing prairie maskers. They also have an air filtration system against nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare, pressurized compartments, double airlocked hatches, and an external countermeasure washdown system. Their electronics are hardened against electromagnetic pulses, and fire suppression equipment includes water sprinklers in living quarters and the Combat Information Center, which is located below the waterline. These multi-mission ships have numerous combat systems, including anti-aircraft missiles, land attack missiles, ship-to-ship missiles, and ASW systems. Missiles are stored in and fired from Mark 41 vertical launching system cells. The class is equipped with the Aegis Combat System, which integrates sensor data to provide a coherent environmental picture and guides weapons to targets using advanced tracking and fire control. The AN/Spy-1D and AN/Spy-6 radars allow continuous target tracking and area scanning, enhancing resistance to electronic countermeasures. The standard missiles SM-2 and SM-6 provide area air defense, with SM-6 also capable of over-the-horizon defense. RIM-162 evolved Sea Sparrow missiles provide medium-range air defense and can target other ships. The SM-3, SM-6, and SM-2 Block 4 provide ballistic missile defense. The class can conduct tactical land strikes with Tomahawk missiles, with newer versions having anti-ship capability. The AN/SQQ-89 ASW combat system integrates the AN/SQS-53C bow-mounted sonar and a towed array sonar with the option to carry standoff RUM-139 vertical launch anti-submarine rockets. Mark 32 triple torpedo tubes on each side can fire lightweight torpedoes for short-range ASW. The ships can detect anti-ship mines at a range of about 1,400 meters. All ships are also fitted with at least one phalanx close-in weapon system for point defense against air and surface threats. Some ships are equipped with the optical dazzling interdictor Navy, a directed energy weapon that can target unmanned vehicles, and the high-energy laser with integrated optical dazzler and surveillance. The Arleigh Burke class has seen extensive upgrades and modifications to remain effective. As of 2023, the Arleigh Burke class continues to play a crucial role in the U.S. Navy's fleet, with ongoing modernization efforts ensuring their effectiveness in various missions and operational environments. One of Japan's formidable warship is known as one of the dangerous in the world. This ship, known as the Akazuki-class destroyers, were a type of destroyer used by the Imperial Japanese Navy during the Second World War. Built to support the Kagero class, their main role was to protect carrier battle groups from aircraft attacks. They were also known as Type B destroyers. These ships turned out to be very versatile and highly valued by the Japanese Navy. This class featured new Type 98 dual-purpose guns in 4 twin mounts, positioned at the front and rear in pairs. These guns were effective against both air and surface targets, could be reloaded at any angle, and had a high rate of fire and long range. Initially, each ship was supposed to have 2 Type 94 fire control directors to target high-angle threats, but due to shortages, the last 5 ships didn't get their second director, and eventually all ships had their rear directors replaced with a triple Type 96 anti-aircraft gun mount. Additionally, 2 twin-mount Type 96 guns were located in the middle of the ship. They were larger and heavier than the Kagero class, with a hull 50 feet longer and a displacement 700 tons greater. They were powered by 2 Kampon steam turbines, each driving a propeller shaft, and capable of producing 52,000 horsepower for a speed of 33 knots. To improve battle survivability, they had separate engine and boiler rooms. These destroyers were among the first Japanese ships to have the Type 21 air search radar, except for Akazuki and Teruzuki. Ships that survived until 1944 were also equipped with the Type 13 radar, and the last 5 had their Type 21 radar replaced by the Type 22, with an additional Type 13 radar installed. Over time, the anti-aircraft capabilities of these ships were enhanced. From 1942 to 1943, the twin mounts were upgraded to triple mounts, and 2 more triple mounts were added near the smokestack. By late 1944 to early 1945, surviving ships had another triple mount added near the bridge, and up to 24 single mounts added in various locations, resulting in a total of 41 anti-aircraft guns per ship. This list would be imperfect without paying homage to the Queen Elizabeth-class aircraft carriers of the UK's Royal Navy. These aircraft carriers includes 2 ships. The first ship, HMS Queen Elizabeth, was named on July 4, 2014, in honor of Elizabeth I, and was commissioned on December 7, 2017. Her sister ship, HMS Prince of Wales, was launched on December 21, 2017, and was commissioned on December 10, 2019. These ships are the main parts of the UK Carrier Strike Group. These ships have a displacement of around 65,000 tons, are 284 meters long, and are the largest warships ever built for the Royal Navy. The carrier air wing will vary depending on deployment, but it will typically include up to 24 F-35Bs and Merlin helicopters for utility and airborne early warning roles. The program's estimated cost is 6.2 billion euros. Initially, the 2010 Strategic Defense and Security Review planned to purchase the Lockheed Martin F-35C carrier variant and to build Prince of Wales with a catapult-assisted takeoff barrier-arrested recovery system. However, in 2012, after the cost of the Catabar system doubled, the government decided to revert to the original plan of deploying F-35Bs from carriers configured for short takeoff and vertical landing. These aircraft carriers have a crew of 679, which increases to 1,600 with the aircrew. The average crew size is 672. The ships displace 65,000 tons initially, but can reach over 70,000 tons with upgrades. They are 284 meters long, 73 meters wide, 56 meters high, have a draft of 11 meters, and can travel 10,000 nautical miles. Nuclear propulsion was not chosen due to high costs and staffing needs. Instead, the ships use integrated electric propulsion with 2 Rolls-Royce gas turbine generator units and 4 Wärtsilä diesel generator sets. These engines power the ship's electric systems and 4 electric propulsion motors that drive the twin propellers. The ships have 2 separate superstructures, one for navigation and one for flying control. This design spaces out the exhaust funnels, reducing hangar space loss and increasing flood resistance. It also simplifies construction, reduces wind turbulence, and frees up deck space. The forward superstructure houses the air surveillance radar, and the aft one houses the medium-range radar. Below the flight deck are 9 more decks, including a large hangar for up to 20 aircraft. 2 large lifts can move aircraft between the hangar and flight deck in 60 seconds. For defense, the ships have failing CIWS for airborne threats and will replace miniguns with Browning .50 caliber machine guns. The ships have long-range and medium-range radars, as well as a navigation radar. The radars can track many targets and have a long detection range. The ships also feature an advanced weapons handling system that automates the movement of munitions, reducing the need for crew members. Each carrier can operate up to 24 F-35Bs normally and 36 in extreme cases, with a high sortie generation rate. They also carry Merlin helicopters for various roles. The ships have 6 landing spots and can operate multiple helicopters simultaneously. The hangars can accommodate Chinooks without folding their blades, and V-22 Ospreys. The carriers will operate in rotation, with a single air group equipping the deployed carrier. Drones might allow for a second air group in the future. The ships can only operate STOVL aircraft like the F-35B, as they lack arresting gear for other types of aircraft. The next on the list is the Sejong, the Great Class destroyers. Also known as KDX-3, they are 3 advanced guided missile destroyers in the South Korean Navy. On April 20, 2007, it was announced that the lead ship would be named Sejong the Great in honor of the 4th king of the Joseon dynasty, who created the Korean writing system. These destroyers are part of the 3rd phase of South Korea's Korean Destroyer Experimental Program, which aims to enhance the Navy's ability to protect South Korean waters and transition to a blue water Navy. With a standard weight of 8,500 tons and a full load weight of 10,000 tons, these ships are the largest in the South Korean Navy and bigger than most destroyers globally. They are slightly bulkier than similar ships like the Arleigh Burke class to fit 32 extra missiles, leading some to view them more as cruisers. The main gun on these destroyers is the 127M Muir/L62 MK-45 Mod 4, an upgraded version used by other nations. For defense, they have a 30 goalkeeper CIWS and a RIM 116 rolling airframe missile launcher. Anti-aircraft armament includes SM-2 Block 3A and 3B missiles housed in 80 MK-41 VLS cells. Anti-submarine weapons include K-ASROC rockets and K-745 torpedoes. Anti-ship capabilities come from 16 SSAM 700K Haesung missiles, and they also have land attack Hyunmoo 3 cruise missiles. The ships feature a vertical launch system with 128 cells, 48 MK-41 VLS cells forward, 32 MK-41 VLS cells aft, and 48 KVLS cells aft. They also have 16 anti-ship missile launchers arranged in 4 sets of quadruple launchers. The Sejong the Great class destroyers use the Aegis combat system with AN/SPY-1D radar, allowing them to track missiles from anywhere in North Korea. This capability was proven in 2009 when they tracked a North Korean missile. Often compared to Arleigh Burke and Atago-class destroyers, these ships have similar radar and propulsion systems, but boast more VLS cells, 128 compared to the 96 on the Arleigh Burke and Atago classes. This makes the Sejong Great class one of the most heavily armed ships in the world, outgunning even the Chinese Type 055 destroyer with 112 cells. They also have full facilities for 2 helicopters, a feature missing from earlier Arleigh Burke and Congo-class destroyers. The last on the list is the INS Vikramaditya. This vessel is a modified Kiev-class aircraft carrier, is the flagship of the Indian Navy. Entering service in 2013, it was originally built as Baku for the Soviet Navy in 1987 and later served as Admiral Gorshkov for the Russian Navy before being decommissioned in 1996. India purchased the carrier in 2004, and after extensive modifications, it completed sea trials in July 2013 and was commissioned in November 2013. The ship's transformation included converting it from a hybrid carrier cruiser to a full-fledged aircraft carrier with a short takeoff but arrested recovery configuration. The refit involves stripping old armaments and installing new systems, resulting in a powerful and modern vessel. The carrier's combat systems are managed by Lazarab-E, an advanced information system, and it integrates with the Indian Navy's network-centric operations. Initially, the carrier lacked onboard armament, relying on its battle group for defense, but was later equipped with CIWs and the Barak 1 SAM system. Future upgrades include the Barak 8 long-range air defense system. With an expected lifespan of 40 years, INS Vikramaditya is a critical asset for the Indian Navy, significantly enhancing its maritime capabilities. The ship's extensive refurbishment means over 70% of its components are new, ensuring long-term operational efficiency. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.